Alright, it's been a little while since I last worked on this, so let's get back to it with the Kyosho Lazer ZX-S. We have the rear gearbox all assembled. The spur gear is a little dirty though, but that's okay. Chassis is ready to go, so we just have to put together the bottom rear portion of the gearbox. We're going to mount that, and then we're going to see how much we can do with the front gearbox. So we're going to start getting some parts out here. That's all suspension, arms, and things. And then we have these. Yep, that is a lower gearbox half. We have this guy and this guy. Okay, you know what? While we're at it, why don't we just take all these pieces out. This. Let's see. That is one of the covers, right? Yes. Okay. There's another one of the covers. All right. So, how many of these need cleaning? Looks like they all do. So, first things first. Let's do some cleaning. So exciting, right? So again, a simple green with a rag and a brush. Nothing too complicated here. This is just dirt, and there's really not that much of it, which is great, actually. So this should be a pretty easy job here. We have one. And then second one. Okay. And then let's see, so that's for the rear, and then the other piece of, so that is this guy, right? This is the front, was the rear, is it front rear or rear front? I think it's rear front. So the first word is where on the chassis it goes, either the rear or the front. The second word is where it is relative to the rear or the front. So rear front would be in the rear of the chassis, the front portion, and then this would be rear rear, and then you have front front and front rear. So this is the rear front inner hinge pin mount. This is the front rear inner hinge pin mount. It can be a little confusing if you're not used to it. Okay, see, easy peasy. Alright, so actually let's separate the front and rear halves here. Let's see, you know what, actually these are for the front. Okay, those are the front lower gearbox halves, so then these are for the rear. So let's do these guys. You know, every time I make these real-time videos, I always get somebody complaining about the sound quality. Guys, I get it. I know what equipment I have. Alright, this camera is a camera that I use to record races. It is mounted to my hat. I am wearing my hat right now. The microphone is not that great for up-close stuff, but it's the only camera I have right now that I can mount to myself and have both hands free. Okay? The other camera I have is on my cell phone, and that's what I use when I'm doing not real-time stuff, and that has much better sound quality and better video quality too. So it all depends on the kind of video I'm making here, and I have no intention of spending hundreds of dollars on better cameras or a whole production studio just so I can make YouTube videos where I don't make any money off of them. So, no offense, it's just not the best use of my money. And, you know, this isn't exactly how I make a living. I just do this for fun. I know some other folks are really into like making a nice studio for video production, and that's great, and I applaud them for it. That's just not really something I personally care to do, at least for now. I guess if I had more time on my hands, or if I didn't have any kids or anything, I might consider that. But you gotta pick your fights. How exactly do you want to spend your time? Do I want to spend all that time and money building a studio when I could be rather spending that time and money on getting more cars to build, or, you know, paying for tuition for my kids' summer camp? There's a bunch of ways to spend money. So, just for your awareness. Alright, almost done here. This one, and then this little guy. So I don't have to spray it because there's enough residual cleaning solution on this and on the rag just from me having sprayed it a couple of times already. So I'm just going to really do a quick once over here. Let's see, actually, yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, thankfully, the guy who had this car seemed to know what he was doing, and he wasn't at all a jackass with this car. He actually seemed to, you know, not treat it like garbage. Okay, so what we're going to do, and this is where it gets kind of funky, so let's see, let's take all of the front, so the front parts are these guys, and we'll just put those, I guess, you know what, we'll just put them in there for now. Clean. And then we have these halves that are going to go here, like so, one on each side. Now here's the thing. We gotta put, actually, you know what, on the rear it's a little easier, because on the rear we can put these halves in, and I'm just gonna show you. And then this here is gonna go around the outside like this. Okay, that's not bad. On the front, this little guard that goes on the front goes in between the housings, and that's a lot more difficult to put together. I hate it. So let's start with this side, and we need, these are 3 by, no, it's 3 by 10, these are 3 by 8, one 3 by 8, and another 3 by 8, and then same on the other side. Okay, so we need 4 3 by 8s, 2 for each side. Let's see, we can do, I guess we can do button head. 1 2 3 4. Okay, so we're going to do this one first. I'm wondering if I should use my power screwdriver for this. I was using it before. I'll just make things go a little faster. Oops. So this, alright. That kind of popped out of the housing there, sorry. I know, if I look at this in a certain way, you guys are going to miss some of the action, because the camera's at a fixed angle, so I have to make sure to point it down so you can see everything that's going on. Sorry about that. Alright. So we're going to do that. Yeah, you know what? Let me get this guy. So Just make it go a little quicker. And did I put the bits? Where did I put the bits? I put them over here. I'm going to be using mostly the 2mm. This guy. Alright. Set the clutch to something that doesn't murder plastic. Alright. Go. Wait a minute. That's the 2.5. Oops, sorry. Wrong bit. I need the 2. That's the 2. Okay. Good. There we go. So usually what I would do is I would use the screwdriver, the power screwdriver, to go in, and then I wouldn't go full bore all the way in. You kind of slow down as the screw head approaches the end, so to speak, and then you can just hand tighten the rest of it. This Lexan has a little crack here and another little crack over here, so we don't want to torque this thing down too much, because then we might end up exacerbating that crack. So we're going to go in, slow down, same thing here, slow down, and you just hand tighten the rest. That's good. Same thing here. That's good. Alright, so now between that and this is going to go on with, we have 3x10, 3x10, flathead, geez, 4, 8. So we need 4 3x10 flatheads to do the gearbox, this and this. 3x10 flatheads. Alright, 8. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? 3, 6, yep, okay. Good. So let's see, I'll do this one first. I'm just going to go in here. Right? Yep. Okay. It's 1, 2, I'll just set this up. Actually, you know what? Before we do the front gearbox, we have to put the steering rack in. You know what? We don't. I could just take the rack apart. And the reason I say that is because, oops, what's going on with that? The belt goes around the steering rack. So you either put the steering rack on first. Actually, you know what? No. I can put the steering rack through the belt. I'm being stupid. Sorry, ignore me. Alright. Let's tighten this down. Okay, and then we're going to put this on. This goes to the front like so. That's going to go here. 1, 2. Alright, pretty soon this is going to start looking like a real car. Okay. I might need to get a new bit there. It looks like it's getting a little bit worn because it's slipping on these screw heads just a little bit. Either that or maybe there's something wrong with these screw heads. Not sure. Let's see. Well, that bit is a little bit rounded. Maybe it's both. Alright, so now this is going to go on like so. Okay. See, now it actually looks like something. So, let's see. I'm going to make sure these holes line up too. Because these halves go on, there's a little bit of flex. You might be able to distort this a little bit to make all these holes line up. Okay, so we're just going to see what we can do here. That one. This one. It's this corner here I got to straighten out. Let's see. Alright. Just kind of have to force it, I guess. So we're going to put this in an angle to get into that hole, and then we straighten it out like this. Once the screw is in, it's a neat little trick. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we hand tighten. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Oh, this one can go a little further. Alright. Okay. See, look at that. Now we got to do 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's going to take on either side, so that's 3x10 flathead on that side and button head on this side. So, let's see, do I have, alright, I have hex head and flathead. Okay, good. So, alright, we can do flathead and button head. Oops. It's me being stupid. This through. Come on. It's 1. Shit. There we go. 2. Doesn't look like those holes are perfectly lined up. You see these holes are a little out, so maybe some flex, something. Yeah, okay, there's a little bit of play there. Come on, get in there. There we go. That's the third one. And the fourth one. This one should just slot right in. Good. Here we go again. 1. 2. 3. 4. This goes so much nicer with power tools. I guess I would recommend getting a power screwdriver if you're serious about racing, especially if you're doing 8th scale or 4-wheel drive short course, because those are basically 8th scale chassis with truck wheels and a truck body, and the screws on those tend to be much longer, and I've destroyed my hands manually building 8th scale electric buggies. I did that once and it was not pleasant. And then I got a power screwdriver, and it changed everything. Alright, so we actually have to go back a few pages to do the front gearbox. Right here. And again, this is the ZX-S Evo manual, so it has a different, it's a separate kick-up plate from the chassis, so we're going to ignore that part. We're just going to go straight to the front rear inner hinge pin mount, which is this guy, and it goes in with the angled side facing down like so. So it's going to plop in just like this, and that's a 3x12 flathead. It also goes up into the gearbox, so we need 2 of these, 1, 2, and right, front bumper goes on later. So let's start with this, and then this guy. So this is going to go through. This just slots, if I remember correctly. Yes, so these holes here are not threaded. Okay, the threading is in this hole. I'm pretty sure. So that just pushes straight through, you see? And then you thread it into this hole. So we're going to do this. Now this is something where you don't really want to use a power screwdriver, because the torque from the power screwdriver will send this thing going, in one direction or the other. It just makes it really hard to line up. So just do it by hand. It's more of a pain, but at least you can get it lined up correctly. You see that? It's going to slot straight in. Okay, now you do want to give yourself a little bit of room to rotate this to line up that hole for both sides, less so for the bumper and more so for the diff, because remember, the front diff is going in this, and so you don't want to have any distortion or angular offset for these halves, because that's going to basically cause binding with the front diff when it goes in there, because that housing has to be perfectly separated so the bearing can seat here and seat here, and there's none of this nonsense going on to cause that front diff to not spin freely. So I suspect this could be one issue with running this car. Let me just actually loosen this a little bit so that these can move around a little more. Come on. Here we go. Okay. Now, fun part. So, the diff's going to go in. Let's see, I believe, yeah, we're going this way. Just like so. It's going to sit right there. Now, here's the thing. So that, how does that? Okay, that's not too bad. It's not really grinding against anything. That sound you hear should be the sound of maybe the roller bearings. Yeah, it might be. Not sure. Anyway, alright, so this is on. Now, one way we can do this is to put these pieces on right now, and then put the front tower on, and all of those, like you have, this top brace here, and then the front tower and all that nonsense. The way that the manual has you do it is you assemble the top half first, and then you just plop that straight on. You could do that, and I believe I did that last time, but I wanted to see if I can try it this way first. Although I suspect, yeah, because when you put this on, and then you would put this on, and so assuming this is fastened down, and then I could just put this on, it might go together a little bit better, because when you're assembling per the manual, you have these two parts that are kind of floating, right? You have to hold them down somehow while you're putting this little cover here in the middle, and then while you're holding all three of those together, you have to take the front tower with a fourth hand and hold it against these four holes and screw them in really hard without making this thing fall out. So I think a better approach would be to mount one half first and then put this in. We'll walk through it and then you'll see. So this goes on with what, 3x10. Okay, all right, in the back goes with the, all right. So we're just going to do the front two holes here, because the back hole goes with this upper brace here. So we need 3x10, and those are going to be button head. 1, 2. Okay. So we're going to put this on first. Alright, this one I'm just going to go straight down. Alright, again, give it a little bit of wiggle room. But you see, now that's held down by something. So I have a free hand to come in, and let's say mount this, and put this on, like so. Come on, get in there. Oh, is that even the right way? Yeah, no, it's on the right way. Oh, I see there's this little, that Lexan has to go in this guide here, and then right around this little circular spot. There's just not a whole lot of room. It has to fit perfectly. There we go. See? No hands, and it's all held together. That would have been a much smarter way for the manual to tell you to do it. Of course, for whatever reason, they didn't see fit to describe it in that way. Alright. So, that's all together. Again, I'm not tightening everything down completely yet. So what I'll do is, now that that's set, let me tighten these two down. And then I will tighten these down. Now this is flexing because the front bumper isn't put in. Although, you know what I can do to make this a little easier on myself. You see that's becoming unseated. Let me just take some screws and provisionally just push them in here just to anchor the gearbox so it doesn't move around. And then later on I'll remove these, you know, when the bumper goes on. Can't put the bumper on now because I have to mount the front arms before I mount the bumper. So you see now these won't move side to side. Then I can actually tighten down the front screws here. Okay. There we go. That's actually not bad. Look at that. See, normally when you build belt drive chassis like this without the top deck installed, this belt might look really loose. But here it's already kind of, you know, not tight or anything, but it has a nice tension to it. But, you know, many times I've built lasers and YZ10s where, you know, this looks a little loose, and then when you put the top deck on, it kind of stretches, it flexes the chassis, and then this tightens up. But right, this one is almost perfect, which is great. Okay, so the next piece, because we are kind of doing this in an alternate order, is right. So let's put this on. And this has a weird way of going on, if I remember correctly. So this is going to go this way, and yeah, this, I believe, it kind of slots in. Ah, yeah, it slots in here. You see that little notch there? So this plate, where you see this notch, it's going to slot in like so. Let's see if we can get it right. There we go. See, there's a little, maybe hard to see, but there's thick plastic here, thin plastic here, with a little slit on either side, and that's going to go in the opening here on either side of the front top halves. Boom, just like that. See? Now I can screw this down, and that goes down with was it 3x18? 3x18. Do I have a 3x18? A 3x16, 3x20. Did I use a 3x20 last time? I wonder if I have maybe 2 millimeters of margin. No, because it goes into, yeah, you don't want to overdo it, because that's going to go down into this, and if you use too long of a screw, you're going to break through. So, do I have 3x18s already? Let's see. 18. I know they'd be a different color. Is that right? Yeah, I believe those are 18. Let's see, that's one. I could go sifting through some of my other sets of screws here. That's two. Alright. Guess we can use these. Unless I want to sift through these other Kyosho screws here. Maybe I have a 3x18 somewhere. This is, well, that's 3x18. But that was used for some other laser. Yeah, right. I'll just forget that. I'll use these. So we're going to go to this guy. Now this, if I remember correctly, I don't think I got to screw it all the way through. Oh yeah, I kind of do. Alright. So everything from here down is all threaded. So then, let's get the 2.5 millimeter bit. It should be this guy. Alright. See, there's an indentation, a recess in this opening, so when the screw head gets to, you think when it gets to there you're done, but you actually have another like 3 millimeters or so to go, or more like 5 millimeters. Alright. This one. Okay, that's good. See, look at that. So that is, I believe, that is a much better way of building the front gearbox than the way the manual tells you to. It saves a lot of trouble. Because when I did that ZX-S Evo, I did it by the manual for this section, and it was just a huge pain in the ass. Alright. Let's put this, I'll put it there. Okay, so now we got to get the tower. Let's see, did I clean the tower? No, I didn't. Alright, so I got to clean the tower. And where's the other plate? Gotta clean this guy. And we have some hinge pins that we also have to sort out. Let's see. These are arms. right? We have these two here. Okay, that's one, that's two. We got the E-clips. So this would go on next. Alright. Just trying to figure out how much I want to do tonight. So what I think I'll do is, yeah, I think I'll end it here. Because I have to clean all this, right? So I gotta take the screws off, clean it, blah blah blah. So next time I'll work on this for the front, and then I suppose after that we'll do the rear tower, yeah, with the sway bar. So we'll try to do the front and rear towers, so that will be hopefully one video, and then after that we can start getting to the suspension arms, the steering rack, all that stuff. So this is where we are right now. I hope that between the videos I've shown you so far for building the rear gearbox and the front gearbox, that I've shown you a better way of doing it that is less headache inducing than, again, the way the manual would have you do it. Yeah, so that's it for now. Thanks for watching.